And a Nigerian lawyer, Monday Ubani, has sent a petition to the Senate Committee on INEC objecting to the confirmation of a presidential aide, Loretta Onochie, as Commissioner for the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Ubani, a former second vice president of the Nigerian Bar Association, contended that the nomination of Ms. Onochie, whom he described as an unapologetic member of the ruling party, the All Progressives Congress, is ultra-vires and unconstitutional. The Nigerian Senate had on Wednesday commenced the screening of Ms. Onochie alongside 3 other nominees who were nominated as INEC commissioners by President Muhammadu Buhari. And joining us to discuss Loretta's appointment and subsequent confirmation by the Senate, as well as the spate of insecurity, is a lawyer and rights activist, Liborous Oshoma. Good to have you on Newsday, Liborous.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, there's been widespread concern over the nomination of Loretta Onochie as electoral umpire, as you've heard earlier. So, give us your perspective from a legal point of view.
Yeah, thank you very much. First and foremost, if you look at the provisions of this Constitution Section 154, subsection 3, on appointment of chairman and members of INEC, subsection 3 specifically states, in exercising his powers to appoint the person as chairman or member of the Independent National Electoral Commission, National Judicial Council, the Federal Judicial Council, or the National Population Commission, the President shall consult the Council of State. One, it is not been shown anywhere that there was a consultation by the President with the Council of State before these members were appointed, because it is very instructive. Why the Constitution empowers the President to nominate these members, but the Constitution also asks him to consult because of the experiences that members of the Council of State would have garnered. This, mind you, Council of State includes former President, the governors of both parties, governors of states. So if at that level, partisan members who are nominated usually would have been objected to. And also, if you now go further to the part 1 of the 3rd schedule, paragraph 14, it states specifically, explicitly on that, it says, and if you permit me also to read, the National Electoral Commission shall comprise the following members. Talked about the chairman. And then if you now go to paragraph B of subsection 3, because it is under that paragraph that the letter that was communicated to the National Assembly was headed, that there shall be for each of the state of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory a resident electoral commissioner who shall be appointed by the President, subject to confirmation by the Senate, a person of unquestionable integrity and shall not be a member of any political party. So the presumption here, by virtue of section paragraph 14(1), is that any member that is to be nominated to INEC shall be a person of unquestionable integrity and shall not be a member of any political party. The section did not just say it shall not be a member of any political party. It goes further to say it shall be a person of unquestionable integrity. The case of Loretta Onochie is very instructive because this is somebody who has consistently appointed by the President on partisan interest, represented the President's partisan interest, has expressed partisan interest in support of the President, and then for a President who came to office on the credibility of integrity, on the back of integrity, to now nominate somebody who has represented his partisan interests for 5 years now to be a member of a board that is to conduct election where other party members will participate in. For me, that is the President single-handedly destroying his own integrity. The question would be, what legacy would the President want to leave behind? When we talk about INEC, no matter how bad Goodluck Jonathan was, you can still remember some of the legacies that he left behind in INEC. The appointment of Jega, when the members, the ruling party now were in opposition, and they clamored for transparent election and the amendment of electoral acts that the President should not single-handedly appoint a chairman. The then President appointed Jega, who was widely accepted, not because the president knew him, but because of his pedigree, but because of his antecedent. Everybody accepted that, yes, Jega will do a good job. But today, this is a man who has contested election on 3 different occasions. And all of the times that he contested election, he complained bitterly about the attitude of INEC, about the process, the election process. One would have expected that such a man would come to office and elevate, the appointment of INEC officials to the level beyond where he met it. But rather, what he's doing now is what Machiavellian, do you remember the 49 laws of power by Machiavelli, that the first thing the king does is to destroy those that brought him to power. And that is definitely what the president is doing here now, trying to destroy the Nigerian, the opportunity, the voice of the Nigerian people to determine who governs them. Because the ultimate power should rest with the Nigerian people. But a situation where you appoint people who are partisan interests, who have represented your partisan views at different fora into INEC that is supposed to be neutral, what you're indirectly doing is that you're destroying the legacy that you met and trying to kill those that brought you into power. But quickly, lastly on this same question, is the fact that the president will not be there when this history would be told in years later. And this will be the legacy that people will remember him for, that he came, he saw and destroyed that which brought him to office.
Now, Liborous, I was going to ask you, what does the Constitution say? But you highlighted some sections earlier on, so that further buttresses your point. So let me ask, do you not think that the president already knows some of these sections, and what do you then think is at play if he does already know that these conditions are already in play?
The president, I want to assume that the president does not know. That's why if he knows, I'm just reiterating the sections of the provisions already. And then also, I want to state here that this is a president that had complained bitterly. Like I said, he conducted election on 3 occasions. He went to court, challenged the outcome of those elections, complained bitterly. Do you know that the president wouldn't have won the 2015 election if not for the credibility of the good people in INEC that stood their ground through thick and thin, brought innovative, non-partisan people, brought innovative processes to ensure that our elections are transparent. And you still have some of these persons around. You still have, though you have few of them in INEC, some might even be retiring just few months before the next election. I want to ask you, what has been the input of this president since he came, in as far as transparent election is concerned? The previous president, we vilified him, we've called him names, but you cannot take away the fact that he created some few innovations for INEC and gave INEC that latitude to be able to transmit election results electronically. That wasn't before. That couldn't have happened in 2011 election. But the amendment to the 2010 election that Goodluck Jonathan signed 2 days before the election in 2015 ensured that INEC was able to do that. But we all saw how the Electoral Act was amended in 2019, and the president said 6 months to the election was too short for him to sign amendment to the Electoral Act. And now, just now when Nigerians are complaining that they've been banned from communicating, from expressing their grievance, all of a sudden the next thing, you smuggle in a partisan name to a body that is supposed to be neutral in conducting election. For me, the president should be bothered about what he would want to be remembered for. I want to assume that it is not him. Maybe those that will be the beneficiaries of this process are the ones urging him on and encouraging him to continue in this trajectory, in this destruction of his own name, of its integrity, if at all, anyone that is remaining. And so that's why for some of us, we are very, very much concerned that I was on this platform sometimes last week, and I did say that Nigerians should all come out and register for election and insist that the INEC opens their portal for voters registration so that we can have that power, that true power to be able to determine who governs us come 2023. But with actions like this, what if you already have partisan people in the electoral body, then the only conclusion I can draw is the fact that the election will not be fair. That means you have partisan people that will not be neutral in conducting the election. So why will I now have the confidence to say I want to be part of a process, or I want to register, to vote, when truly, or encourage people to register to vote, when truly the legacy that the government meant is already destroying them through the appointment of people who have partisan interest, into a body that is supposed to be neutral.
All right, Liborous, if I may come in now, that point is noted, but you have this information here that the Senate hasn't actually confirmed Loretta Onochie yet, and neither has it screened her. It was only referred to the Senate Committee on INEC. So in that perspective, how would you gauge that? It's still at the peripheral stage.
Yeah, it's in the first place. If you look at the provisions of Section 1534 that I read to you, in the first place, the nomination, Loretta Onochie ought not to have been nominated at all, not to even talk about forwarding her name to the Senate. You remember when she was first nominated, even before clearance, even before the Senate had rejected that they would not want to disgrace the ruling party, because that nomination, in the face of all constitutional provisions, flies against even what the president stands for. And so it shouldn't be. Even others that were nominated, where the nomination was delayed to ensure that her name is replaced. But the insistence by the government and the president that name must be forwarded to the Senate, and knowing fully well how rubber stamped this Senate can be, that's our fear. That's why some of us are scared that it is time now we speak out on this issue, so that we do not destroy, we don't allow the government to destroy that legacy that we all fought for, the legacy that we insisted, because that will empower us to be able to determine what happens in our election and electoral process. If that is allowed to go to the dogs, then what it means is that we can as well wave democracy goodbye. And today we are celebrating the credibility of an election that was conducted June 12th in 1993. And that same year that we should be celebrating the sacrifices that people made for a credible election, we are destroying the little one that we have. So that's our concern, really, so that we also tell not just Nigerians, but the National Assembly that it's a no-no in as far as constitutional provisions is concerned, in case they also are not aware.
All right, then. I'd like us to move away from Loretta Onochie and move forward to other stories now. Would like to gauge your thoughts regarding June 12th, the demonstrations and the protests that have been taking place in different parts of Nigeria. What are your thoughts?
That's another challenge. There's no way you can divorce this or separate it from the nomination of Loretta Onochie. They go pari passu. Because June 12 stands for a lot of things. One would still say till date that was one of the most credible elections in Nigeria. June 12, 1993, people came out, and the election where a candidate will be defeated clearly in its own polling unit, an election where we didn't look at what religion the candidates, what religion they practice, where we didn't need to bother about whether it's a Muslim ticket or a Muslim Christian ticket, where Abiola won Tofa in his own ward in Kano, even though Abiola was from the south, where Abiola had a running mate who was a Muslim also, Babagana Kingibe, and then where people came out transparently. We didn't know or bother to know who the national commissioners were of INEC. All we knew was that we had a chairman and people believed in his credibility, a professor of political science. But today, can we, in all honesty, say that the INEC that this government is building today, the INEC, the legacy that President Muhammadu Buhari wants to leave for us with INEC, with the nomination of Loretta Onochie and some partisan members, and even old people that are tired, that are still allowed to remain in INEC, that can you, in all honesty, truly say, look back at June 12th and say, truly we are marching forward or we are retrogressing? And that's why you see a lot of people, a lot of young people coming out to say, this set of Nigerians enjoyed the best Nigeria had to offer. And what they are doing to us is to destroy our youth, destroy the present, destroy the future for us, and we cannot sit down and allow that to happen. That's why they are coming out to say we need to take back our country. And I would want President Buhari to look at all of this, because a lot of people have told him that these marches are to topple his government. That's not so. What people want him to do is they want him to understand and feel their pain, feel the need to leave legacies, lasting legacies, and feel the need for him to write his name in gold in the sand of time and not to be partisan in appointments.
Indeed, interesting perspective there. Liborous Oshoma, legal practitioner and, of course, rights activist. A pleasure having you on the show.